Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So, today's video, we're going to talk about something Klaus Schwab said. This guy says, he just says a lot. And not that he says a lot, he's just talking now, like he doesn't care. Whatever the hell comes out of his mouth about locking us down and reforming the world and making sure people are falling in line, he doesn't care. He just says what he has to say. But Klaus Schwab said actually two interesting things over the last 2-3 weeks, right? One of them was that China is a great role model for many countries. I don't know what countries he's talking about, but the fact that he said that, I was just like, you kidding me, man? Seriously? Like, I mean, what the fuck? China is the epitome of communism and restricting people's freedoms and their rights. That is like what I think when I hear China. I think that. And yet he said they're a role model. Now, there was a little more to the interview, but when he also said they were a role model, he talked about how China came up in the last 40 years to be a political empire, if you will. Right? They rival with the United States and Russia. And that they did that in the last 40 years. And that's impressive. But what is impressive about a restrictive country? A country that restricts its people, a country that tries to tell its people to stay in line. Right now in China, thank you to the people of China for doing this. They are giving the Chinese government a run for their money. Thank the fuck God somebody in that country grew a pair of balls and decided to fight back, because the Chinese are done with the COVID restrictions. Now, interestingly enough, I don't see the Chinese president doubling down on it. I mean, I think that at some point, even as a dictator, well, I know he's not a dictator, but he might as well be, you'd look at it and go, all right, this is not the battle we want to fight. We want to keep these people in line. We can't continue to do this. And the reason why the people in China are protesting, by the way, and having at it, is because they're tired of the COVID restrictions. Anyway, so Klaus Schwab now thinks that that whole country, their base of how they got to where they are in the last 40 years, is a great model for a lot of countries. A lot of countries, guys, are adopting a lot of what the Chinese are doing. The Chinese government, are doing. They are actually taking the social credit scoring system. A lot of countries are going to start implementing that soon. Now, I thought Italy was supposed to do it this year, but I don't think they got it off the ground, or I don't think they activated it, whatever the fuck you do with it. But they were supposed to have it this year, and I didn't hear it. I looked it up. I didn't see that it went into play yet. But a lot of countries are looking to do the same thing, and a lot of countries, like here in the United States, they're going to do soft opens with it. So the social credit scoring system is not going to go into full effect like it did in China. We're going to creep to that level of China, but not get there like that. So for a lot of people who know about the social credit scoring system, know that it's not going to be implemented on day one. They're going to creep this in. They're going to start doing shit like looking at our social media, looking at what we buy, and that's going to be part of our social credit scoring system, right? So they're going to look at our behaviors. Oh, you got a speeding ticket? That's going to bring your credit score down. They're going to initially leave it as credit score, but they're actually bringing social things we do on the outside into it, and it's going to ultimately become a social credit scoring system. They're probably going to name it something different. But that being said, guys, this is something just to pay attention to, because Klaus Schwab thinks that that's a good idea. Klaus Schwab thinks that restricting your people on their movements because of COVID, it's a good idea. He believes that you should be restricted in your movements, and that if you don't become a societal drone, you should be penalized, because that's pretty much what China does. If you're not a societal drone, you are penalized. Now, we are seeing that here in the United States. We are seeing that if you're not part of the political clique, you are ostracized, you're badmouthed, you're racist, you're homophobic, you're all of these things as soon as you give your opinion about anything. Anything. If you have an opinion about Jews, you're anti-Semitic. You have an opinion about gays, you're homophobic. You have an opinion about blacks, you're racist. You don't. I mean, like we're entering that realm where that's what he wanted, so that can be also counted into your social credit scoring system down the line? Possibly. Also, Klaus Schwab went on to say that we need a worldwide systemic transformation of the world. Sorry. That's what Klaus Schwab said. Systemic transformation of the world, guys. You can look this up yourself. I'm like, it's like they're not even fucking with us anymore. They're telling us what they're gonna do, and then telling us while looking at the camera, there ain't shit you can do about it. Now, there's a lot we can do about it, but we gotta grow some balls to do something about it. The Chinese, the people of China, are doing something about it as we speak. So something can be done. We just have to grow balls, all of us around the world. Because guys, they're going to implement this, and they're trying to implement this slowly, but there's also certain things I'm looking at that they're trying to implement fast. So because again, if you push this too quick, you're going to get pushback. You're going to get people who are going to be like, go fuck yourself, we're not having this. And they're going to start rioting and throwing spam and fucking dildos and socks and all kinds of shit at people. So they don't want to do that. They don't want dildos thrown at them. But if they implement it slowly, like the frog in the pot, you turn up the heat just a little, ever so slightly, a little bit at a time. Before you know it, the frog is boiling in the pot. That's what they want to do to us. They want to crank it up a little bit at a time. Before you know it, we're saying, well, that wasn't so bad. Maybe we can do that. Meanwhile, we wouldn't have said that 20 years ago, whatever that is, right? Taking our Instagram, for example, and putting it into our credit score, and then telling us, well, we saw that here you were drinking, flashing your titties in New York City on a Tuesday afternoon. And people like, they'll look at that and go, why were you doing that? And that's going to bring your credit scoring system down. Shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then we look at that and we go, some people think that's a great idea. Some people are like, well, yeah, because their social behavior should dictate how they move around society. Because that's what they do in China. You have social issues and it brings your social credit scoring system down. You can't even go to the movies. Imagine. Whatever. Not the point. The point is, guys, is that they're going to start doing this to start restricting our social activities as well. We'll just have to wait and see how bad it gets or how fast they move. Remember, if they move too fast, it's not going to go. If they move slow, they can get a lot of us on board or a lot of them on board because a lot of us won't be on board. Whatever. You get my point. We're not going to fall for the bullshit. But this is just something that Klaus Schwab is throwing out there on the table right now. A systemic transformation is needed for the world, and China is the great role model for many countries. Now, I don't know if he said all, I don't know why he didn't just say all countries. He said many countries. So I'm pretty sure he's talking about the smaller countries who are trying to develop. They should follow China's lead, I guess. Nonetheless, guys, China is not a country anybody should be following. Anyone. Anyway, guys, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.